Hi guys! Today we're going to look at a really simple way to pause and resume a game. We'll demonstrate using this scene that we created in our 3D platformer series. It has various moving and animated components that will be able to pause and resume at the press of a button. If you want to, you can download this project by supporting us on Patreon. All the links can be found in the description. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is go to the scripts folder in the assets panel. We'll create a new script and name it Pause Controller. We'll drag this onto the character in the hierarchy to assign it. Then we'll double-click the script to open it in the editor. In here, we need to keep track of whether the game is paused or not. We'll create a private Boolean field named isPaused. Then, in the update method, we'll check if the escape key has been pressed. If it has, we want to toggle the pause state. We can do this using the not operator. This will set isPaused to true if it was previously false, and vice versa. Now we need to take some action based on the pause state. We'll check if it's paused. If it is, we want to freeze everything. The easiest way to do this is by setting the timescale to 0. This will effectively stop time in the game. Time.delta time will now be 0 in every frame, so any movement or animation that depends on this will be stopped. We'll add an else statement to do the reverse, and set the scale back to 1 when the game is unpaused. Let's save the script and switch back to Unity to try it out. Now when we press escape, the game pauses. When we press escape again, the game resumes and we can carry on. One thing to be aware of with this method is that setting the timescale to 0 does not stop the update methods in your script executing. So for example, input can still be processed. Let's pause the game and press the spacebar. Normally this would make the character jump. Nothing happens while the game is paused, but if we resume, we can see the character is now playing the jumping animation and we're in a bit of a strange state. This is because the input handling code was still executed and changed the animation state while we were paused. Let's stop the game and switch back to the script to fix this. We're going to add a couple of Unity events that will fire when the game is paused and resumed. We need to add the Unity Engine Events namespace. Then we'll add an event called GamePaused. And another called GameResumed. Then, in the update method, we'll invoke the GamePaused event when the game is paused. When the game resumes, we'll invoke the Resumed event. Now we have a way of notifying when the pause state changes. Let's save this and switch back to Unity. We'll select the character in the hierarchy. Then in the inspector, we'll add a handler for the GamePaused event. We'll drag the character into the object slot. Now we can find the player movement script in the drop-down and select the enabled property. We'll leave the checkbox unticked. Now, whenever the GamePaused event fires, the player movement enabled value will be set to false. We'll do the same thing for the GameResumed event. This time we'll tick the checkbox to enable the script again. Let's press play to give it a try. Now when we press space while paused, it has no effect, and we can pause and resume without any unwanted side effects. One final thing we'll look at is what if you don't want everything to pause. So you may want your pause screen to be animated, or you may want some things to still go on in the background. Luckily, Unity has the concept of unscaled time, which allows you to ignore any changes to timescale. Let's stop the game and have a look at an example. Let's say for some reason we wanted the character animation to continue playing while paused. If we go to the animator on the character, we can change the update mode to unscaled time. This will cause the animation to always play at a timescale of 1, regardless of what the timescale is set at. Let's press play to try this out. Now when we pause, the character carries on animating. There's an equivalent unscaled time for other things as well. For example, in your scripts, you can use time.unscaled delta time instead of time.delta time. One thing to be aware of, though, is that fixed update is never called when the timescale is set to 0. So if you need to use the physics system when paused, then you'll probably have to go down a more manual route. For the majority of cases, though, using timescale should work fine. Okay, that covers everything for this video. Hope you found it useful. A big thank you to all our patrons. We really appreciate you helping to support the channel. If you'd like to help and also get access to the source code, you can find details in the description. Please leave any questions or feedback in the comments, and subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss the next one. Thanks, guys.